I know, she's telling me.
She keeps turning. See, this is a choice.
I know.
This is a deliberate choice Gypsy just made. She could put the blanket over her head very easily. Hey friends, so I think I finally got my technical issues figured out so we can finish this recap finally. Let's take a look. I shouldn't have to stop for a headache either because I'm not wearing my wig. Okay, so after Gypsy speaks at the San Francisco College, her and Ken decide to do a little traverse of the beach side. Shows a nice beach scene here. They give us a little Ken profile. Look at Conspiracy, she looks disgusted, y'all. Gypsy's packing again. Or unpacking is. And she needs Ken's opinion about the dress. Before Ken can answer, the producer asks Gypsy, "What do you like about being in the spotlight?" To which Gypsy immediately replies, "I don't. Then why do you keep signing contracts?" We got more sad complaints. This morning I went into reading some comments about her talk at the San Francisco University, and she got a lot of backlash and hate. Oh, shocking, Gypsy. She says she's confused by that because she thought that she was doing something good. The thing is, if Gypsy actually listened to some of the hater content's actual suggestions, she would know that prison reform doesn't make sense for her and a lot of other things that could actually help protect her from backlash. But I think all she listens for is stuff to react to. Stuff to get emotional about. And she talks about earlier in the year when she was just getting released, how she was getting acclimated to society, and she felt people expected so much of her. The thing is, to whom much is given, much is expected, and you've been given a lot, Gypsy. You've been given deals, like I keep saying, that most people could only dream of. Most people, first off, most of us could never imagine having to plead guilty to second-degree MURDER. But for the people who find themselves in that position through their own choices, most can never imagine getting a 10-year plea deal. And then on top of that, coming out and getting a bunch of media deals, an HBO deal, a Lifetime deal, over and over, a book deal. You've been given a lot. So, yes, much is expected of you to do well with what you've been given, considering your circumstances, because your circumstances aren't good. You committed MURDER. Second degree, pled guilty. But Gypsy says if she gets knocked down, she keeps getting back up. And that she is making baby steps. You should have made baby steps with your media presence, to be real. And that while she's making those baby steps, she's prioritizing her personal life. Well, we've seen that. We saw how you literally ditched Ryan to prioritize Ken. Now she's about to do a little fashion show for Ken, and I think he's excited to see her out of that purple grandma dress. I think Ken's trying to redeem himself from saying his grandma would like that dress. And he's like, I've never actually seen like. And he doesn't finish the sentence because Gypsy interrupts with, how pregnant I am? You've never seen how pregnant I am? And then the regular Ken we've seen from the first 2 episodes comes out. And he was like, yeah, because you're always wearing like, tight t-shirts. And his impression of the flowy dress she has on is, oh, I can see the baby bump now. When he said that, Conspiracy was like, what does he mean? And then they immediately cut to a hallway scene, and Ken says, it's so hard not to walk ahead of you. See how he finishes that up. Gypsy says, I know. And then she says, everybody talks about it. And Ken says, well, let him talk. Lifetime goes to pensive music. Everybody's confused, like a conspiracy. And that's literally the end of the conversation. They switch to B-roll footage of beach houses, and that's it. They never go into any explanation of why Ken likes to walk in front of her and why Gypsy's doesn't care or whatever. Just everybody talks about it. What on earth? It's so weird. Like, if maybe it's a big deal, maybe it's not. But if they're going to bring it up and address it, it just seems like it freaking explain it. But no, if that was it, that was the end of the scene. Just, it's so hard not to walk in front of you. I know. Everybody talks about it. Let him talk. It's so weird, y'all. It's so weird. Okay, then Gypsy and Ken decide to go on a little boat ride. This is where Gypsy drinks fizzy grape juice in a wine glass, toasting Ken to rage bait everyone into saying she had alcohol. I assumed it was juice because she knows that she's high profile enough that she'll be tested immediately if she actually drinks alcohol. So she rage baits people. She rage baits people into making content saying very decisively, Gypsy had alcohol. And then turns out not to be, so she can be like, ha ha, the haters. It's a cycle, y'all. It's a cycle. And Gypsy starts up. We get some more B-roll footage from the boat scene that they're on. Then Gypsy says, "Oh, look at all the people," in this tone of like they just amassed because she was on the water. No, they're doing their regular practice kayaking class, whatever, and they see a boat on the water with a freaking camera crew on and around it. Of course they're gonna look. Gypsy's doing this annoyed fake tone. She's like, "Yay, that's lovely. Hi." Then we got Rescue Keenergy, and he's like, "Did they say your name?" And Gypsy says, "I don't know. Like, she's such a big celebrity. Who knows what people holler at her? Of course, they probably said her name." It's the camera crew, y'all. It's the camera crew. She wouldn't stand out without the camera crew. Look at Gypsy and Ken glaring at these people. These people who had no idea that in their morning boat routine, whatever they're doing, would actually encounter a camera crew. A camera crew for an MURDER error. Lifetime lets us know that this is a big deal with tense music. Ken says, "I think I heard them say gypsy," because instead of focusing on them having a good time, they're literally straining, trying to hear what these people are saying if they say anything about them. Like, they could just let the kayakers or whatever they are kayak on and wave at the cameras or whatever and move on with their lives. Instead, they're like, "Are they saying her name? Are they saying gypsy?" Ugh. It's so dumb, y'all. Ken's like, "I want to go in the cabin." They make a choice to show the captain. So yeah, due to Ken's key energy, they're going down to the cabin for Gypsy's safety. Conspiracy is confused by this too. She's like, "Who cares if they said Gypsy?" Again, there's a camera crew around the boat. That's what's attracting the attention. I guarantee they wouldn't be trying to figure out who she was if it was just her and Kian on a boat without a big camera crew around. They probably have Lifetime branded on the cameras. So this cabin that they went to is basically just enclosed with like some plastic sheets and umbrellas. They're not really private at all. Kian's still watching the kayakers. Might get him with his key energy. Gypsy's looking down, scrolling her phone as usual, and Ken's like, "They're staring at you." I'm starting to wonder here, like, who's really obsessed with celebrity more? Sometimes I get to thinking maybe Ken would actually like to just be gaming and not have this, but he seems into it. What do y'all think? The key energy is giving into it. They get a little closer and you actually do hear someone yell, "Gypsy!" And Gypsy's trying not to smile because, she's supposed to be concerned, supposed to be upset, supposed to match Kian's key energy. So she swallowed that smile and she says, "Damn it," screwing her face up. For Kian. Gypsy can't help herself. She glances over at the people screaming her name. She's like, just a little smile. She smiles this real big, happy, satisfied smile before she starts trying to change it again for the key energy. We're switching to upset, tense. We're going to have pensive music or tense music soon, I'm sure. Working that face. Working it to sad and concerned. I wonder if she's considered contacting Fancy's acting coach, y'all. I told y'all, tense music, it was coming. I'm getting down Lifetime's formula. We get footage again of Ken staring at the people. It's like, good Lord, like, I would feel kind of harassed by Ken and Gypsy if I was on that boat, especially if I was one of the people who did not scream Gypsy. Can y'all imagine? It goes on for a while. Lifetime tense music's it. They switch back to Gypsy, working her impressions, trying to stay concerned and not happy about the attention. A little more rage bait with the fizzy grape juice in the wine glass. And she says, "There are times that I do feel like a circus animal." Well, the thing is, you have a choice, Gypsy. If you stopped signing media contracts, people would stop recognizing you almost immediately. Your fame is not set like a Kim Kardashian fame or like a Jennifer Aniston, a Cher, an Elizabeth Taylor. Like those people, their fame is so deeply set from their work, their art, their actions that they're always going to be recognized. You're not there. People will forget about you quick if you stop doing media deals. You could stop being a circus animal. And that's actually a reason why you're not a circus animal. Circus animals don't have a choice. You have a choice. You said, "I want to do an HBO deal. I want to do a Lifetime deal. I want to do a book deal, then another book." The circus trainer is you and the animal. You're both. And she specifies that she feels like a circus animal because of her past. Again, no, you could choose to be anonymous. You could not do the media deals. You could get a non-public facing job. I'm sure your parole officer or some programs for criminal rehabilitation would help you find a job out of the public eye. Did you ever look for one? Did you ever try? Or did you just want to be an influencer like Dee Dee taught you? Now, Gypsy says it's heartbreaking at times because she doesn't want to be treated any different. Now, I think, well, but stick with me. I think Gypsy is technically telling the truth with that statement. She's just not elaborating. When she says, I don't want to be treated any different, I don't think she wants to be treated any different than she was before the MURDER. But because before the MURDER, she was a public speaker, figure of inspiration, treated like a local star. I don't think she wants to be treated any different from that. Does she want to be treated different from regular people? Abso-freaking-lutely. She would not keep signing media deals if she didn't, in my opinion, allegedly. So this is the boat that they're on, y'all. Like I said, Lifetime crew is filming it. They're filming from the inside. They're filming from the outside. They're filming from around. They probably get a drone over it. But also look at the boat structure. What the hell good did going into the cabin do? And Cam was being all protected with his key energy. Like, we're going into the cabin. Wait, what good did that do? They milk this scene as long as possible. Like, is everything okay? Gypsy says, yes, in that little I'm lying tone, and looks back pensively at the boaters. Like, oh, what are they going to do? They knew my name and recognized me with this big old Lifetime crew around me. What am I going to do? Key energy, save me. Conspiracy even says, she's like, you can't do all the shit you're doing and expect to not be treated any different. I'm sorry. Right on. Love Conspiracy. And Ken says, we've only been back together 6 months, and we're still learning a lot about each other. Well, we know Gypsy's learning that you don't sort your stuff and you like to keep your ex's hairbrush in her pictures and blah, blah, blah. We know you've learned that Gypsy's bed is uncomfortable, and that's why you don't spend time in cutout. Yeah, I'm sure that's it. It's not that you need some freaking relaxed time from the Chirp Boys. That's definitely not it. Ken tells Gypsy, I'm just trying to figure you out. I think you're going to need a long time, Ken, and I don't know that you get the stomach for it. Gypsy says, oh yeah? She says, like, what? Don't you have me figured out yet? I'm sure Ken knows there's a lot you don't know. I bet that book opened his eyes on a few things, even though I'm sure he would never admit it, but still. He's acted a bit rougher with her since then. What do y'all think? Am I reaching there? Ken says, not tonight, I don't. Ew, is he trying to be sexy there? Ugh, in front of the camera? Gross, Ken. And Gypsy does a little more bad acting. She's like, why? The way she said why was like whenever Rod told Ken, she wants a baby, watch out, she wants a baby. And Gypsy's like, what? Girl, your tells are so obvious. Don't play poker, Gypsy. Don't play poker, whatever the hell you do. Ken says, something's going on with you. Well, that's weird. That kind of reminds me of stuff that Ryan used to say to Gypsy when she was texting Ken. Oh, what do y'all think? Again, maybe I'm totally reaching there. Just that's the memory, that's the similarity that come to mind. Gypsy doesn't reply to that. They just keep staring at those kayakers. Then we got Ken talking to the camera instead of directly to Gypsy, like talking behind the scenes. He's like, I can sense when her energy's off. Dude, she doesn't hide it. I think anyone can. My lord. He says it's hard to put into words. I imagine probably only because he's afraid of the retaliation he gets from the words he'll use. Says it's just like a feeling that you get in your, it's an energy that you can feel. He doesn't tell us what his, is. I don't think we want to know. Don't tell us, Ken. Don't tell us, Ken. Keep that to yourself. Maybe she's going through a moment. I bet she went through 60 moments in the last minute. He's like, I don't know. And Gypsy's looking at him with one eye half closed. I might be a little worried and trying to figure it out too if she was sitting across from me looking at me like that. She seems annoyed. And Gypsy says, there are certain times that I just don't want to be recognized. Girl, you don't get that choice when you travel with a camera crew. Okay? When you're traveling with a camera crew, you're SOL and not being recognized. People won't even know who you are, and they'll realize you're traveling with a camera crew and try and pretend they know who you were because they want a shot at being on camera. Sorry to break it to you. It's not always about you. Correction. I'm not sorry. I wasn't sorry. Gypsy says, I just want to have a nice evening. Yeah, on a boat with a whole Lifetime crew following you around. But here's the kicker, y'all. So sometimes she just wants to have a nice evening and not have to be Gypsy Rose Blanchard. That you don't get. You can change your look. There's nothing wrong with changing your look. I like to change my look up. But you don't get to not be Gypsy Rose Blanchard, who pled guilty to MURDER after planning matricide and committing it through her tool of Nick Godejohn. You don't get to undo that. That label sticks for public safety. Lifetime gives us some tense music about it. They show more footage from outside the boat, and Conspiracy says exactly what I've been saying. They probably recognized you because of the freaking film crew following you around. Now, I guess to try and give the impression of, people following and recognizing her, they show B-roll footage of crowds with pensive music. It's pensive, y'all. Pensive. They showed the pensive music closed caption for so long that I nerded out for a moment and was like, I know what pensive means, but what's the exact definition? Y'all, it is engaged in, involving, or reflecting deep or serious thought. Pensive music. They really went all out with the B-roll footage this time, although I don't blame them. Like, they've been in New Orleans and California. New Orleans is beautiful. California's got those beaches. Like, Gypsy and Ken decide to get some boba tea and go for a tarot reading. And that is interesting. Now, I'm a fan of tarot reading stuff myself. Big fan. However, I would encourage anyone, if you go to a place where there's a lot of tarot readers and you just want to have a good time and enjoy something exotic, be aware that if you just choose someone at random, you're probably going to just get an exotic good time for your money. If you want a tarot reading from someone considered respectable, do some research ahead of time and go, and you might actually get some helpful insights about your life if you believe in and subscribe to that sort of thing. If you don't, you're going to find it ridiculous no matter what. But it seems to me that they went to someone who clearly, obviously, had to sign for the fact that they were going to be filmed and didn't want to say anything negative in a Lifetime show. I'll let y'all form your own opinion because I'll tell you what she said. Okay, so here's the tarot reader's stand that they go up to. It's got some good sized crystals there. She asked them to clear their mind. Some tarot readers do that. Some ask you to focus on a question or a problem that you want an answer to. She asked them if they want a reading on a specific subject or just go with the flow. She explains that going with the flow would be just whatever she sees, she tells them. They decided on a combined lovers reading. The deck she is using looks like it could be a modification of the standard Rider-Waite deck, but I'm not sure, and honestly not that interested in this reader enough to try and figure it out. That being said, I'm sure she's a very nice lady, but she clearly did not want to say anything negative on this show. Or maybe she just got all positive, wonderful stuff about Gypsy, but can y'all imagine that? Can you imagine someone energetically connected, actually getting all positive vibes about Gypsy and her past connection and the spirits around her? What do y'all think? Whoa, I knocked my camera around. That's a blooper. She says the energy shows growth around family, which honestly, the expression on Ken's face makes me think he's sitting there thinking, yeah, duh, she's pregnant. He said you guys could use a little patience at this time. Yeah, again, duh, about to have a baby. And they have a camera crew following him around, so obviously. And she asked them how their patience is. Gypsy does a pretty strained smile at that question. Ken stutters around a little bit and he's like, it's getting better. Gypsy responds and says, I'm pregnant, so my patience is very short. Again, the reader obviously could tell that. She says the cards say growth and family celebrations, and with a pregnancy, energy says good. Okay. She gave her some basic health advice, legs up, rest, drink water. Normal. Then she says it feels like energy-wise the universe brought both of you together, which that's where I'm like, she is 100% just playing for the camera. Ugh. Not only brought them together, but for a purpose and a reason, y'all. Was the purpose a Lifetime plot? Girl is hoping that Gypsy's going to keep calling her back for a reading. She's like, there's a strong soul connection there. A past life connection between both of you. And those soul and past life connections is why it was so strong at the beginning of meeting each other. Yeah, I'm sure that was it. It wasn't just that Gypsy was incarcerated and horny. Then again, more evidence that this tarot reader is absolutely ridiculous. She looks at Gypsy and says, you're a very private person. No. Girl tells everything she knows and more because there's a lot of lies too. Can't keep her lies straight. Oh, it's a mess. Private person, my ass. She says emotionally you hide a lot and don't like to share. Y'all, we've seen her emotionally reacting on TikTok to everything that's ever been said about her on the internet and things that have not been said. Ryan can't get a little booty dance without Gypsy lose her mind on a TikTok live. Look at Gypsy's face, y'all. She knows what that lady's saying is BS. But she's not going, But she says the cards say when meeting Ken, he was very open and honest. So energy-wise, something was different. It was something different. It's key energy. Different than what she'd experienced with anyone else in the past. Yeah, not Nick or Dan. She said the exact same things about Nick and Dan. That's what this tarot reader is feeding to her. Because it's a cliche. It's a cliche. The tarot reader says, it says a break. Were you guys on break before? Gypsy says, yes. And Ken looks uncomfortable. He's like, that is so interesting. He knows it's coming. Gypsy pops in to make sure it's known how long it was. She's like, 5 years. That's how long Ken left me. 5 years. The tarot reader says, but it says the universe brought you guys full circle. Again, she wants Gypsy to call her back and pay for some private readings. Says the card told her energy-wise, this is a year of a lot of transition. Again, Gypsy's clearly pregnant. They're together. They have a Lifetime show crew following them around. She could probably sell the Gypsy's not wearing a wedding ring. Yeah, obviously it's transitioned. Obviously. And again, I'm someone who believes in tarot readings. I like them from the right people. But it's also an area that's very easily scammy, and it takes advantage. Facts are facts, y'all. Growth, change, and a move. Ken's sitting there going, this is crazy. Gypsy says it's kind of creepy. And she says the cards say that Ken's move to Louisiana was a good move. I'm telling you, she wants Gypsy's business. Apparently, key energy-wise, it was a good transition. Then she said, just you try to stay away from drama. Is that possible for someone that close to Gypsy? She said, both of you stay away from drama, as if the cards are telling her that they stay away from drama. Your cards are wrong then, lady. Or you're reading them wrong. Yeah, that's what she was saying. Both of you stay away from drama, but drama tends to follow you wherever you go. Charlatan, I call it, this lady's an absolute charlatan. I try to give her all the benefits of the doubt. No. Drama doesn't follow Gypsy. Gypsy creates the drama. She begs for the drama. She attracts and brings in the drama. She cuddles that drama up to her. What do y'all think? Gypsy's like, oh, that's so true. It just follows me. Nothing I can do. The reader says that the cards say that energy-wise, it's hard for Gypsy to trust people. I don't believe that. My God, y'all. I heard her on a live not too long ago asking if Dreamercraft Corner was going to come to Louisiana and meet her. I'd say she trusts pretty easily. What do y'all think? The tarot reader said it's hard for Gypsy to let new people in. Refer back to the statement I just made. And then she said the thing that if Gypsy is interested in future tarot readings, will absolutely get this lady Gypsy's business. She said, you're not the same person who you was in the past. Exactly what Gypsy wants to hear. She told her the cards say you have become strong for yourself. She's become something. She said the card told her that she has to start trusting the people that you were around for love. Sounds like maybe that was a little hint to trust Ken. Maybe leave him alone about the hairbrush. Where is my hairbrush? She told Gypsy that happiness, love, and success were going to come back to her, and that she is meant to be helping a lot more people. Again, this is things that will get Gypsy's business. She has a camera crew following her around. Obviously, she wants attention. Tell her something that will validate her need for attention by saying, you're meant to be helping people. You need this attention. You need a show and a camera crew around you so that you can inspire. What do y'all think? Touching a lot more people. Ew. Ken doesn't even seem to want that much, or else he would be in her bed and cut off. And then she told Gypsy she's in the right place and where she needs to be at right now. And that the cards say, don't let other people's judgment affect you. The only way she lets it affect her is inspiring her to clap back. So y'all remember, keep making content. And she can help flattering Gypsy a little more. She's like, sometimes you put a smile on your face, but you could break down behind doors. That's every person in the world. I'm sorry, male, female, adult, child. Everyone puts a smile on and could break down behind closed doors any minute. We all have problems. She says there's meant to be happiness coming back. Then y'all, here's where it starts getting super stupid in my opinion. I'm sorry for being blunt, but good God. Okay, she says, energy just says don't feel guilty. To someone who pled guilty to second-degree murder, when you're finally starting to enjoy your life. When you're finally starting to grow or have happiness around you, you don't feel guilty. I don't think Gypsy's ever demonstrated feeling guilty other than when she was clearly acting and faking it, in my opinion. In my opinion. She says the energy told her that Gypsy has a strong spirit. Many people of certain psychopathic tendencies do, just saying. And sociopathic tendencies. Okay, she says energy says that you have a strong spirit that watches over you. Y'all think she's trying to subtly refer to Dee Dee? What do y'all think? Ugh. She said you have 3 strong spirit guides that are watching over you. And then I lost the very last of that part before it went to commercial because the screen was buffering on Conspiracy's live stream. What do y'all think about that tarot reader? Ugh. I don't care for it. Like I said, I like tarot reading as a whole, but I recognize that it's an industry where everything can get real scammy real fast. You really got to know who you're talking to and trust them before you give someone any money. And Gypsy tells her that she was close with her grandma on her mom's side. And the lady said, that's what's showing me. And she tells Gypsy that her grandma on her mama's side says they're watching over you. So there you have it. No. And then she says, prepare yourself, y'all. Like it just gets grosser and grosser. She says, they're proud of you. She says it feels like energy-wise, they want to see you happy. Gypsy killed one of them. Y'all? What do y'all think? Like, I feel weirded out and stunned by that. Way too far. She tells Gypsy, they don't want you to feel sad or sorrows anymore. Lord, y'all. And they want her to look to the future and not dwell in the past. And the universe is making things right. And then this part, like, I don't even have words, says, you're being rewarded for your past efforts. What past efforts? Conspiracy said the same thing on the live stream. Look at her face. She was like, what past efforts? I have no words, y'all. Do you have words? Tell me in the comments, please. When she said being rewarded for your past efforts, Gypsy literally started laughing and giggling. She's like, I think she knows what past efforts. I can only think of one thing that she put effort into, y'all. And it's that one thing that she pled guilty to and sent her to prison. Y'all think of anything else? Gypsy and Ken are both like, wow, that was amazing. Gypsy said it was very spot on. And Ken said it definitely hit. To which Gypsy replies, hit really good. Ooh, now we have melancholic acoustic music. Damn, y'all. B-roll footage of a roller skater? We get Gypsy and Ken street walking. And of course, Gypsy says, that reading was actually really like spot on. Oh God, y'all. Then she said that really surprised her because she's a skeptic. Y'all, she was a full-ass Wiccan in prison for quite some time until she changed her mind and decided to go Christian again, start preaching in her book. I think she felt like being Christian would be better for parole and getting out. What do y'all think? Says, I don't believe in any of that stuff. Again, bullshit. She says she was nervous that it would be a negative reading. What if that got communicated to the reader, y'all? Worried there would be something she didn't want to hear. You know, the crew, said some of the crew, producers, whatever, who were there following her around, communicated this to the reader. Gypsy said it made her less of a skeptic now. How long do y'all think it'll be before she goes back to her Wiccan ways and then releases a book on that with a new line of preaching? Ken says, yeah, the reading was incredible. He was blown away by some of the details that she knew about their life, like what a pregnant woman walks up and you're like, you're in a transition period. Ken says at the end of the day, they really do get each other. And he understands what riles up her emotions. Well, I'm sure he does. Yeah. Whenever she's in front of a whole freaking camera crew going, the hairbrush of an ex-girlfriend. We can all tell. We all know what riles up her emotions. But he says they can figure these things out. And they showed Gypsy walking through sand like it's freaking, I don't know, upturned bed of nails or something. She's all like, pensive. It's freaking wet sand. Run into the ocean. And we get Gypsy saying, we are in a very unique situation. Yeah, I'll say. They're reconnecting, plus they're in the public eye. Your choice. But a lot of those things are hardships on them right now. Again, stop choosing hard stuff. Don't choose hard mode. Choose easy mode. You can do it. You're not in prison. No one's forcing these choices for you. Lifetime gives us tense music. Then we get Gypsy Mia. Gypsy's back in Louisiana talking to Mia about her trip. She says it was nice. And Gypsy tells Mia that the speech was in front of an auditorium of students. Gypsy says she felt really confident in that space until she went on social media. Because a couple of students that were there, but she found where they posted videos from her speech and they were talking shit. Is Gypsy ever going to, I think she knows and just doesn't want to accept that the majority of the audience that she gets is hate watch. Most of those people there were there to hate watch. She says she cried her eyes out that night. Do y'all believe that? I feel like if Gypsy was going to cry her eyes out over a hate video, then that would be every single night. We'd see her in tears every night because she can't resist going on live. What do y'all think? And Mia, obviously, she's always reasonable and factual. She's like, it's going to happen every time. But Mia also reminds her that she read a lot of comments that were really good. And that's true. There's always a mixed bag with Gypsy. It's generally 50-50, like our nation right now is 50-50. But when Mia tried to switch it to something positive, Gypsy immediately went back to, well, they were nice, but I got some backlash about my outfit. Mia, again, tries to be reasonable. And she's like, yeah, some people were very like, I hate that. And others were like, I love it. I don't know who that would be. Kid's grandma, apparently. When Mia tells her some people love the dress, Gypsy's like, really? Because apparently she hadn't even seen any positive comment. I've never seen a positive comment on that dress. I think you'd have to go back to 1992 to get a positive comment on that dress. But Mia reminds her again, hey, the online hate isn't going to stop. And it's not. Gypsy's being all pitiful. She's like, I just turned off all the comments now. Sure, it's good for engagement or whatever. But I feel like if you're going to talk smack, do it on your own profile, not mine. Oh my God, she is always throwing out that line there. Nobody cares, Gypsy. Nobody cares that you don't turn your comments on and off. We know you turn them back on when you get to need money. Ugh. Gypsy says, they just want drama. Girl, you want drama, posting the things you post. Y'all remember the Oscar video? While she was in the middle of a messy divorce cheating scandal, pregnant with a man's baby, not her husband. She posts that. But all of us who commentate, we're the ones that want drama. Gypsy says they want drama and drama doesn't exist. Oh, it exists, Gypsy. It exists. You provide it. Gypsy's saying the drama doesn't exist, so they have to like create it in their own heads. Look at Mia. She knows Gypsy's talking absolute bullshit and she's just letting her do it because what are you going to do? Okay, for this next part, this is from Gypsy's Live, not from Lifetime, so I should be able to show this. Okay, so after Conspiracy finished streaming, I saw that Gypsy was still on live and I popped over to see what was going on, if anything crazy was going to be said with her recap of the show and stuff, and I was actually shocked at what I saw. I couldn't believe it. Gypsy has made such a big deal about how she's never going to show her baby's face. Do y'all remember whenever she went on Breeze Live and put out there that she got mad at Christy because Christy encouraged her to go ahead and sell the pictures because they're going to get out anyway? Might as well make the money on it yourself. Like, Gypsy went out of her way to put it out there that, oh, Christy said this and I told her no, I got mad at her. Look how good I am and not Christy. That was a little weird, a little shady towards her step protector. But then Gypsy goes and does this and it just shocked me. Like, what was even the reason for this? What was she trying to accomplish here? Anyway, let's take a look, y'all. Okay, so immediately whenever she started holding the baby like this, I was thinking, what the heck is she doing? Get off camera. Babies turn their heads every which way. You can't always control that. And, she started kind of trying to hold its head at the back. And I'm like, this can't be good. But yeah, I couldn't believe what happened next. Keep watching with me, y'all. So Ken leaves the room, and I didn't get this part recorded, but earlier before this, Ken had been like that blanket, that pink blanket, putting it up behind the baby's head and everything, trying to protect her face as she kept turning her head. So Ken leaves the room, then watch. See with the baby moving her head around like that, I'm like, she's not gonna be able to keep from showing his face. She couldn't. She keeps turning her. See, this is a choice. This is a deliberate choice Gypsy just made. She could put the blanket over her head very easily. The baby cried there because she put it to her mouth like she was about to get food. She let her suck on it a little. Anyway, I just found that so blatantly weird. And people have called Gypsy out on it in her comments. And her response is, well, we have to care for an infant. Life doesn't stop because we're on a live stream. Life doesn't require live streaming. You don't have to be live streaming. She could have stopped the live stream anytime. She made a choice to show her daughter's face on live stream after all the talk about not going to do it. Anyway, I found it really shocking. What do y'all think about that boring ass episode? Y'all finally through it. I hope something crazy happens in the next one because this one was rough. What do y'all think?